Oh, Natasha Rothwell, you are a queen of comedy.
Thank you.
Truly. You are a brilliant, brilliant woman, on screen and off. And the series that we're gearing up for with you, I hear, was 7.5, 8 years in the making.
That's right.
So how does it feel to finally have it out in the world?
Oh, it feels like a dream. It really does.
Yeah.
I am making this sort of press trip in New York, and here is where I was grinding, I was dreaming, I was hoping, and so to have this dream come true, it's just, it's a pinch me moment for sure.
Oh, I can only imagine, but it's a moment that you put into practice because you've been manifesting this role. You put it down on 2 different vision boards that you want to be the #1 on the sheet.
That's right.
When the first day of arriving to set came and you were #1 on that sheet.
Yeah.
Were you just thinking like, I did this?
Thank God for therapy. I've been in therapy for 20 plus years, and so saying I'm proud of myself and celebrating those wins was hard for me, and it's still a little bit of an adjustment. I don't have main character energy in real life, and so being in the spotlight and to achieve what I've achieved, I'm being consciously thoughtful about receiving this moment and celebrating and being proud of the achievement.
Well, you should be.
Thank you.
Gratitude is a beautiful practice to keep.
That's right.
So to hear that you're doing just that, incredible.
I'm broke. My family thinks I'm a lost cause. My love life is a joke. And the punchline is, I work at an airport. I'm afraid to fly.
You can't let fear keep you from taking off.
Come on, let's go. Woman King.
Woman King.
No, say it like you mean it.
Woman King!
That's a little bit loud.
Sorry.
You're the writer, star, EP on this show. That's a multitude of hats right there, but what was like the most satisfying thing about juggling so many hats, yet also the most challenging?
The most satisfying thing was the process. I think I'm a little neurospicy, and my brain loves to work at like max capacity, like put more weight on the bar.
Oh yeah.
And so the busier I got, the more I thrived, and so I just really enjoyed being able to pivot and sort of compartmentalize and really sort of have my hand in everything. And I would say the most challenging thing was putting it down. It's been in my mind, my head, my heart for so long. And I was in Thailand, and I was shooting and working on the last episode remotely. And I just remember closing out the editing session of the last episode, and I just kind of sat there. And it was emotional because I was just like, it's done, like pencils down,
Wow.
That was really hard.
End of the test. You gotta turn it in.
Turn it in and hope for the best.
Now, Natasha, you mentioned a little old place called Thailand. And I do believe that's because Belinda, our beloved Belinda, is returning to the White Lotus season 3.
Yes.
Well, you think I'm working hard now. Wait till I start my own business.
Fans are so pumped. You've got to be pumped as well.
Yes.
So how was your time in Thailand with
My
the crew?
time was amazing.
Yeah.
I can't say much. I've signed my life away.
Of course, what happens in Thailand stays in Thailand.
Yes. But it was so cool to go from playing this character of Melissa to Belinda because they're both in service industries. They both are overlooked in what they do. And I'm just excited for audiences to get to know both Mel and more of Belinda.
Oh my gosh, we cannot wait. And like the casting little nuggets, with Parker, Lisa from Blackpink. It's just like, what a smorgasbord of like talent.
It was an embarrassment of riches for sure, and I was so nervous,
Why? You know that world.
Well, it turned out that was, I forgot that piece when I was there. I was just so nervous to meet, literally people I've been watching my whole life, and they're now my castmates. And we went to this cast dinner the first week, and I was so quiet. And again, because I'm neurospicy, I kind of stay in one spot because I have social anxiety. And towards the end of the dinner, Carrie Coons came up to me, and I just vomited, oh my God, I love you so much, like I didn't walk over to you because I was so nervous, and I'm so nervous. And she was just like, you're nervous? I was like, we're all over there talking about how we're nervous to meet you.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, you're season 1.
Exactly.
And then I puffed out, I was like, yeah.
I am.
Yeah, okay.
I know, I was ready to say, Natasha, you saying that you're nervous, I'm sure they thought the same in
Yeah.
terms to you, so I could totally see that.
Yeah, it turned into a love fest though.
Oh, Carrie, brilliant.
Brilliant,
I mean, the
brilliant.
casting is so good.
Get ready.
And the showrunner, Mike White, He does it so well.
The Midas
right?
touch, yeah.
Oh my gosh, to have that touch. How to Die Alone. It's funny, but yet it's also heartwarming. So how would you describe it to folks?
I mean, it kind of defies genre, and I think that's sort of a hallmark of most things that I do at my production company, Big Hattie, because for me, so much of my experience being a plus-size Black woman in Hollywood is people having preconceived notions about parts that I can play and emotions I'm allowed to feel on screen.
Really?
And I really wanted to create a character that played with the whole, beautiful spectrum of human emotion and allow my character to have light moments and dark moments. And so it's definitely, a dramedy sort of playing in that space, but it's comedy forward. And I really think it does a great job of showing the realness of that experience. Some of us wake up to a rom-com by lunch, we're in a horror film.
Girl, I know, it's like, do I grab the Kleenex? Do I laugh? What do I do?
That's right, but that's real life. So
it is.
Yeah.
Mel is a very relatable character, and we see her in these scenarios of being in fearful moments and having to overcome those fears. So how many of those scenarios that we see in the series actually mimic your real life?
Well, I think a lot of them.
Really?
Yeah, I think the whole process of making this show was about facing fears.
So what's the biggest fear you've had to overcome?
Dying alone. And I think it's because, when I was in my early 20s, I took the bait of rom-coms, hook, line, and sinker. It was in my mind that, life doesn't really start until you have someone else. And I think that fear was misguided because what was really scary was being lonely. And there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. And understanding that difference, I think, is crucial because people can be in committed partnerships and be very lonely. People can be by themselves and feel not an ounce of loneliness. And the reason for that is loneliness, the antidote is vulnerability and connection. And you can be vulnerable and connect even by yourself.
Yeah.
And romantic love is beautiful, right?
Yeah.
I want it and I think it's a beautiful thing. But when you value it more than other types of love, I think you do yourself a disservice,
Particularly self-love.
That's right. Loving yourself, your familial love, your platonic love. And so being able to face that fear allowed me to sort of dissipate the fear and really embrace the fact that I have so much love in my life. And I'm not going to press pause and wait for someone else. The train has left the station, and if he wants to hop on, you gotta run, jump on,
Exactly, 'cause
Yeah.
this train ain't stopping.
Ain't stopping.
And nobody.
That's right.
But me. Yeah, because Mel, she wants to be seen, she wants to be loved. So you're a bit of Mel. Mel's a bit of you.
Yeah, I think in the Venn diagram of characters, there's definitely overlap. And in the pilot, I do this monologue about wanting to be seen and wanting to be loved. And that was such a painful thing to shoot because it was just honest. And it was just how I've always felt. And I've never said those things out loud. And so doing the show was hugely cathartic in that way, to be able to say the things that I wish I had seen on screen, to make me feel less alone. So I'm excited about the show. Yeah.
And you should be. I mean, it's just like this character, your actions, your motions, your delivery is just like second skin.
Thank you.
Well done. Getting a few insecure vibes from this.
Yeah.
To Issa.
Thank you.
What is one thing maybe in particular that you took from that series and you wanted to inject into this one?
Well, I definitely took notes sitting front row watching Issa create her show. I think one of the big things that I've learned from her was putting into practice diversity, equity, and inclusion. So all of our directors are women of color. That was so important to me. I also watched her cast the most attractive men. So I also followed. I'd let him do anything to me.
We work at the airport. We're invisible to him and everybody else.
Why not let the ladies have some eye candy?
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I was just like, note to self, if ever I get my own show.
I mean, why not?
That's right. And yeah, so I think in those in those two respects, I definitely paid attention. But ultimately, I think watching her protect her art was one of the big things that I took from the show. I think the similarities in the show tonally, for me, are just coincidental and not intentional. But I was just grateful to have her as sort of a teacher along the way.
So cool. Is there one standout piece of advice that Issa's given you that you've just really held on to?
Yeah, early on, she talked about hiring the best people because they make you better. And so I definitely think that's absolutely true, you know, making sure that, and I think I took it further in that I wanted to make sure that every crew member, department heads, PAs, they understood what I was trying to do with the show and believed in it, and having them on board with it emotionally. It makes a world of difference because we work long hours, it's exhausting. You spend more time with people on set than you do your own families when you're in production.
Honey, don't we know that? We know it very well around here. But you are the company you keep. You are the product of your environment.
That's right.
So positivity, you know, good talented folks, it's going to breed that.
That's
so
right.
That is some wise advice. You know, I love that. Your character from Insecure, you know, obviously will forever live on in the show, but also very much lives on in the world of social media, memes, GIFs. Is there one in particular that you love just sending out to people in a response from you to them? Because your character has given so much to give back.
Yes, no, the meme queen for sure. It's so funny to send the growth.
It's everywhere.
The growth GIF.
What, GIF, whatever the kids are saying these days.
And so that tickles me sometimes to send it to friends, and they're just like, all right. And like, it's usually tongue-in-cheek. They're like, okay.
It's so genius, though, and it fits in so many different scenarios.
does.
That's for sure.